Shalom, shalom, sisters. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High God of Israel. Call Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, sisters are doing well in the spirit. I wanted to get on here and share this lesson that the Most High has put on my spirit to do. Just going into hellfire and, really having that fear of the Most High. Because in these last days, we have to fear the Most High. Sometimes, sisters might get lax in their walk with the Most High, kind of take your foot off the gas, kind of get comfortable, kind of get stagnant. And we got to really learn how to ignite that fear that we had when we first came in this thing and really meditating on, our future. Meditating on our future, meditating on what's going to happen to us in the afterlife. Are we going to be destroyed with the 2/3 of Israel and these heathens, or are we going to, be with Yahweh Shai and be in the kingdom of heaven? And I'm going to get right into it. This is the book of Luke, chapter 16. I was meditating on this heavily, and I thought this was a beautiful, beautiful account through the Spirit. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 16, and I'm going to start at verse 19. It reads, "There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores." And I'll pause right there for a moment. This reminded me at first of how, this system, just how the system is created, these governments, these elites, these people, they want us to work ourselves to death. We're having to pay taxes, and we're just fishing for crumbs, really. We're like that. We're like Lazarus. We're kind of begging for, this grant, begging for this money, begging for this loan. We're trying to make ends meet. And we're desiring to be fed from just the crumbs, just a little, 1,000, a little here, a little there. When they got billions, millions, they're rich. And then I started thinking again, and I was like, this is really spiritual though, because, and this is Yahweh Shai talking. This is red letters. Spiritually talking. I'm gonna keep reading to make the connection. Verse 22, "And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented." And I thought this was so mighty, and it's really something to meditate on, because when you think about it, in this life, we go through hell. We're under these curses. We suffer. We got to worry about, late payments, and rent might be late, payments might be late. We go through spiritual afflictions. We just barely making things meet. Like, we're going through it physically and spiritually in this life. But Most High willing, just like Lazarus, will be in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's bosom. We'll be, written in that book of life, Most High willing. And those people who were focused on, the things of this world, the cares of this world, deceitfulness of riches, they're going to be begging in that fire. They're going to be begging, Lord, please save me. Lord. Those people who praise the Most High with their lips, but not with their actions. Those are going to be the ones in that time that are going to be tormented instead of comforted. And, it's like a reverse thing. If we want to be comforted in that time, all hell's breaking loose. We want to be comforted when, the missiles hit this place and destroy this place. We want to be comforted and protected from that. We got to be willing to suffer. We got to be long suffering. That's one of the fruits of the Spirit. We have to. Because those people who are comfortable now, those people are going to be tormented in that day. This is the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So, of course, there's nothing wrong with, having, some change. You got, you make a nice living for yourself. But you got to make sure that you're poor in spirit. You're able to be lowly and humble in the spirit. You're not puffed up. You're not forsaking the Most High and His law, statutes, and commandments. You're willing to bring yourself down low so that Yahweh Shem Shai can be magnified, so that you can, Most High willing, obtain that kingdom. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of God for your patience and faith in all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of God, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of God, for which ye also suffer. So we have to have patience and faith while we're going through our persecutions and tribulations. We have to endure. We know that that's the name of the game, endurance. We have to endure in order to be saved, in order to get the kingdom, because that right there is a token of the righteous judgment of the Most High. And the Most High, He's just. He's just to give us the kingdom if we continue to endure through the persecution, through the tribulations, through the refining process that He's putting us through, so we can be counted worthy. We have to be counted worthy for the kingdom of God, because it's a special place. It's the best place. Can't nobody just, no rinky-dink person can just walk up in the kingdom of heaven. No, you have to go through some things. You have to be proven by Yahweh Shem Shai that you deserve it. This is verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. Going back to the parable we just read. It's a righteous thing with Yahweh Shem Shai to give tribulation to those that trouble others. That rich man that didn't want to give to the poor, and then even going back to when Yahweh Shai was saying, like, roughly paraphrasing, but those people came to Christ and was saying, like, Lord, like, didn't we, do this, and this for you? And He was like, you didn't do it to the least of those. You did it to me. That what you do to the least of the people of God, that's what you're doing to Yahweh Shai. So we got to really meditate on that as well. And verse 7 reads from 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and 7. It reads, and to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with His mighty angels, in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of His power. So those people who forsake the gospel of Yahweh Shem Shai, those that don't want to keep the law, statutes, commandments, that don't even try, those that are comfortable in their sin, in their iniquity, not moving in sincere spirit, those people are going to be punished with everlasting destruction. Everlasting destruction. This is 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 14. And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. So don't be afraid of the things that you see coming to this world, because we know that famine is coming. We know that fire and destruction is coming. We know war is coming. Freedom of speech is, at stake right now. All types of things, race wars, civil wars, they're brewing up. All these evils upon the earth. The Most High is sending these angels down on earth to fulfill His will. All these things we know must happen in order for us to get out of here. It has to happen. But be not afraid. because these things must come to pass in order for us to get our salvation, most high willing. So we continue to suffer for righteousness' sake. Continue to go through it with the bills. Continue to go through it with these jobs. Continue to go through it with this government, this system, because the Most High has something better. He has something better. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 18. And this is a mighty chapter. Please, 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 if y'all can, read this chapter in its entirety. Very mighty through the Spirit. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. So I interpreted this as the righteous, they're going to suffer those straight things. We're going to go through troubles, tribulations, afflictions with your family. It might be your husband, your children. It might be outside people. Just the system. Might go through struggles in this flesh. You're going to go through struggles in this flesh. But in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we have hope. That's where faith comes into play. Like, yes, I'm going through it right now, but I know something is better because the Most High is good and He's just, and He said He would do it. And the Most High is not a man that He should lie. I know that. So the righteous, they're going to suffer those straight things, but they're going to hope for wide. They're going to hope for the kingdom of heaven. And that's wider than any of us can imagine. But those that have done wickedly, they're going to suffer those straight things too. But they're not going to see the wide. They're not going to see the hope and the salvation of the Most High. They're not going to see, okay, if I keep these laws, statutes, commandments, I can have a crown placed upon my head. I can be, in the kingdom of heaven with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Most High willing. I won't have to see there's going to be a time where I won't have to worry about crying and being depressed and these spirits attacking me and this and that and having to suffer in this man's system. The wicked, they don't see that. This is verse 19. And he said unto me, there is no judge above God, and none that hath understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. So many people in this life, the two-thirds, they're going to perish in this life because they despise Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and their law. The laws of God, they despise it. It was set before them. We know that everybody has to know. Hey, you're an Israelite, you got to keep the laws and commandments, you got to do right. You don't do that, hey, you're going to perish. It's simple. It's plain. Verse 21. For God hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. And even back in Deuteronomy 30 and 20, the Most High said, choose ye this day, roughly paraphrasing, life or death. You're going to keep these commandments of joyful and gladness, and joyfulness and gladness, so I hear, or you're going to choose death. You're going to live in your iniquity, in your flesh, fulfilling the lust of the flesh, and perish. Those are the options. There's no in between. The Most High's not dealing with lukewarm. Verse 22. Let me get 22. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law have they despised, and denied his covenants. In his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. So if you're empty, you, like people in the world say, you have no soul. It's just no soul. If you don't have the living waters inside of you, you don't have the spirit of Yahweh Hashem shine inside of you, you are empty. You're empty. And for those empty people, they're going to receive empty things when it's all said and done, because we all have to stand before Yahweh Hashem Yahushua at the judgment seat. We have to. It's lucky for this noise, y'all. I'm outside. But for the full are the full things. Those that are full of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and his spirit, those people are going to receive the full things. The crown, everlasting life. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, in verse 11. And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain. So those people who loathe the Most High's laws, you despise it, it doesn't bring you peace when you read and do those things that are required of us in the law, those people must know it after death by pain. You have to answer for everything you do in this body. Everything you do in your body, you have to answer for it. Every vain thought, every time you think something wickedly, you might not act on it, but it's you're imagining vain things, imagining things to go off that are against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Those things can lead you to knowing that pain after death. Because a lot of times, when people in this world, they think, you just die and, everybody go to heaven. In the end, no. It's going to be a time where, everybody is going to have to, again, come back, stand before Yahweh Shai, and receive that judgment. And, sometimes people think that, just because the death is instant or, they went a peaceful way. No, you still have to answer for what you've done in your body. You have to. And the Most High, he can torment your spirit, your flesh. This flesh is whatever. But the Most High, he can torment your spirit. He's the Father of spirits. This is the Most High's program at the end of the day. So you got to either fall in line or you're going to receive that pain, that judgment. This is verse 13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. So going back to, the parable that I brought out when I first started the lesson in Luke 16, that rich man, you don't see Lazarus wondering, well, dang, Lord, when are you going to destroy this man? When are you going to, what are you going to do to this man for not giving me the crumbs, for not letting me have a seat at his table? Lazarus didn't do that. But guess what? He was in Abraham's bosom. He was able to, be full of the Spirit and have that everlasting life. Because the Most High, he deals heavily with the poor. You see it throughout the scriptures. He deals with the poor in the spirit and in the flesh. The Most High, he doesn't play about the poor. Those are less fortunate. So don't worry about how the ungodly are going to be punished. Do not worry about, focusing on, the heathens and this and that. Because we know their judgment. We know what their end is going to be. But worry about how the righteous are going to be saved. Worry about if you are going to be saved. Because you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Nobody else can get it for you. And the Most High, he created the world to come for us. But it's up to us to obtain it, to put the work in, to receive it. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse 14. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, he that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. So you gotta have that fear of the Most High. You gotta have that fear of the Most High. You have to make sure that you are not found with those people who are going to be dwelling in everlasting burnings, in that devouring fire, that fire that's not going to be quenched. You have to meditate upon these things because you don't want this to be you. You don't want this to be you. You want to walk righteously, as verse 15 said. Speak uprightly. Despise evil. Despise gain of oppressions. Despise, this wicked system that oppresses our people day in and day out. Despise those that, bribe others. If you work the Sabbath day, I'll give you this raise. That's just on, one level. And then even stopping your ears from hearing of blood. And what's blood? That's that tail bearing and gossiping. Tearing one another down, tearing brothers and sisters down. Instead of praying for them, uplifting them. Loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Shutting your eyes from seeing evil. Protecting the things that you see and you meditate on and look at. And because, the eye is wicked. The eye is a wicked thing. So this is Isaiah 66 in verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor, and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. And this is mighty for those that haven't observed DOA yet, Day of Atonement. Those that are looking to be seen by the Most High, those that are looking for their prayers to be heard, their repentance to be heard from the Most High, forgiveness of sins from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is the man that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is looking at. The man, the woman, in our case, that woman that is of a poor and contrite spirit, who trembleth at the word. When you read these words of life, when you hear testimonies that people bring out of how the Most High delivered them from certain situations, certain spirits, you should tremble at that and just be in awe of the Most High and his power. When you go outside, because the Most High said you can learn things even from the beasts of the field, roughly paraphrasing. You should just be in awe with the Most High and his creation and his works, his mercy. Because he didn't have to bring us into this truth, into this faith. He didn't have to, but he did. Because that's how much he loves us. So we got to make sure that we're in a humble spirit, a contrite spirit. And we got to make sure that we truly fear the Most High. And we tremble at his word. We tremble at the thoughts of him and the judgments that he puts upon the earth and certain people that we see, in the world or in our day-to-day lives. We have to tremble at the Most High. Because he's worthy to be feared. He's worthy to be praised. This is the book of James chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 2. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring in goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment. Kind of like in Luke 16. You got the rich man. He got this and this going on. He got all this food. You got the goodly apparel, the purple, the linen, all that going on. Just like this man with the gold ring and goodly apparel. And, you got Lazarus. He was poor. He had the sores, and the dogs were licking his sores. You got this poor man right here in James chapter 2 who's in this vile raiment. It might be, what rags people will call rags. This is verse 3. And ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, the nice clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. So you putting folks under you. We're not above anybody. We're not above anybody in this truth. So you can have respect to persons. Verse 4. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Hearken, my beloved brethren. Hath not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him? So you got to meditate upon this. The Most High, again, like I've been saying, through the Spirit, the Most High deals with the poor of this world that are rich in faith. So we have to, in these last days, we have to amp up the faith in the Most High. You've been in this truth, some years, and, you've gone through some stuff. But you got to see, like, am I really increasing in faith? Am I still sweating and struggling and trying to make ends meet and trying to hustle? And, I'm willing to maybe break the Sabbath so I can get some extra money, so I can, pay my rent, pay this, my children got to eat, this and that. Or are you putting your faith in the Most High more and more as the months go by, as the years go by, as you keep these Day of Atonements, as you keep these Passovers, all these other high holy days? Are you increasing in faith? Because, yeah, we poor, most of us. But are you rich in faith? So this is something we got to meditate on, because we're supposed to be those heirs of the kingdom, because the Most High has promised that to us, that love Him. So you got to love Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And how do we love Yahweh Shem Yahushai? By keeping His commandments. This is verse 6. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Do not they blaspheme that worthy name by the which ye are called? So don't have respect for these people who got high places in this man's world. Don't have respect unto them, because they oppress you. These folks in the government, all these people, they oppress us day in and day out. Don't have no reverence for them. Don't be trying to bend your back over for these folks. Be like Daniel. He feared Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He wasn't gonna bow down to the three Hebrews, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. You gotta meditate upon all these accounts and apply them, because they were in captivity then, just like we're in captivity now. But we have to have that same faith. Aspire to have that same faith as they did in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's how we gonna make it out of here. That's how we get protection from the Most High. So don't respect those that blaspheme Yahweh Shem Yahushai, whether in word or deed. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 4. And it reads, And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him, which after he hath killed, hath power to cast into hell. Yeah, I say unto you, fear him. So we got to fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We can't fear what anybody that's in flesh and blood just like us can do to us, because they don't have any power or control over our spirit and what's going to happen to us after, we give up the ghost, if that's our time. We got to meditate on Yahweh Shem Yahushai and His power, because He's able to cast into hell. He's able to torment your spirit with that everlasting devouring fire. Slack out another truck. That's Satan. They want to pass by slow too. But reading on, this is the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and verse 7 through 8. It reads, And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So we want protection from this. This is a seal that we're coming into. We're seeing this right now. We're in the fourth seal. We see this right now. We see, pestilence on the earth. We see famine. We see people killing one another. You got the hangings that we're seeing. We're seeing all types of tribulation all throughout the earth. These spirits are on the earth, and it's all from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, fulfilling prophecy. But we don't want to be accounted with that. We don't want to be killed with the sword because of our wickedness. We don't want to suffer for wicked things that we've done. We want to suffer for righteousness' sake, for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But we have to examine and see our spirits and see, what we're really doing this for, who we're doing this for, and making sure we're in the right spirit. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. So, again, this is just reiterating what we were talking about in 2nd Esdras. You know, it's going to be a time where we're going to have to, whether you die now or you die later, regardless, everyone's going to have to answer for what they've done in these bodies according to your works. Every man's going to be judged. But we got to worry about what we are going to be judged for. Not worry about what Charlene got going on, what she's going to be judged for because she did you wrong and this and that. No. Worry about yourself, your own salvation. This is Sirach 21 and verse 9. It reads, the congregation of the wicked is like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. And I got this in the GNT. I thought this was mighty. It reads, a group of people who have no respect for the law is like a pile of kindling. They will meet a fiery end. So those people who have no respect for the law, those who don't respect Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who have no fear in Yahweh Shem Yahushai to keep the law, you're just like a pile of sticks. And, you know, sisters are going into tabernacles if you haven't kept tabernacles already. You're just like them sticks that the brothers be hewing down, them trees, getting them sticks for the fire to keep it going. So y'all can stay warm during tabernacles. You just like them pile of sticks going right up in the fire. Getting wrapped up together, bunched up together, just to go in the fire, to get destroyed. You don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to me. We don't want that fiery end. And in verse 10 in the GNT says, the road that sinners walk is smooth and paved, but it leads to the world of the dead. So in the world, you know, it might seem enticing. Like, dang, in the world, I could just go ahead and, you know, I could just go ahead and work. I can run up a bag. I can do this, this, and that. Folks in the world got it easy with it when it comes to this, when it comes to that. I don't got to worry about, you know, fighting my flesh because I could just be in it. Yeah, it's smooth. It seems smooth. It's paved. You know, everybody else is doing it. And it kind of reminds me, too, of, like, a road, like, a car, for example. When you have a car and you have them tires on that car and you just be driving and over time your tires get bald. Lord, when I can insert a picture. But your tires get bald and smooth. That's not a good thing. If your tires are smooth, that means they can't run over, you know, random stuff like rocks and, you know, maybe a plastic bottle on the highway or whatever. You need that traction on your tires so you can be able to drive efficiently. Just like in this truth. You're going to go through bumps, and when you look at a tire, it's bumpy, it's lines and, you know, all that. It's not smooth at all. And if your tires are smooth, you're going to be in an accident. I'll tell you that right now. If you got smooth, bald tires, we're scared. We're nervous for you. Because you're going to be, in an ugly situation. Because you have no traction on your tires. Just like in this truth. You know, the road is a straight and narrow path to the kingdom, but it's bumpy. It's a bumpy road, y'all. It's tribulation. It's persecution. It's hard. It's crying. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough as hell. But we have something to look forward to. When we get to our destination in our car, safely, with our nice tires that aren't bald, that's the reward. Making it to your destination safely. Making it to the kingdom safely. Lord willing, y'all get the reference. But I'm going to read my last precept and I'm going to close out. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 13, verse 1. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, blessed be God that liveth forever, and blessed be his kingdom. For he doth scourge and hath mercy. He leadeth down to hell and bringeth up again. Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. So we got to bless Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And all the tribulations we go through and all the hell we go through, he brings us through these things to refine us. He brings us, it might be going through hell. It might be going through hell in this truth. But he brings you back up again. The Most High bringeth up, he bringeth down, he killeth, he maketh alive, he heals, he scourges. This is the Most High. He deals with a just balance. This is all a part of, the Most High and his program. But the Most High, the thing with the Most High is you can't avoid his hand. So doing temporary pleasures, temporary fixes that you think in your mind, you're trying to make things work for you. You're taking things into your control and your power when you have no control. It's pointless because nobody can avoid Yahweh Shem Shai's hand. If you're going to be destroyed, you're going to be destroyed. There's nothing you can do. We have to submit ourselves to Yahweh Shem Shai so we can get salvation. This is verse 3, reading on. Confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them. There declare his greatness, and extol him before all the living. For he is our Lord, and he is the God of our Father forever. So I wanted to end off the lesson with that and let y'all know, praise the Most High. Praise the Most High for what he's doing in your life. Instill that fear in yourselves of the Most High, because he is truly worthy to be feared. The Most High is not nobody to play with. You see the judgments, and that's a part of keeping watch too. If you keep watch, that's a way to instill fear in the Most High in you, because it's like, dang, when you realize, dang, the Most High is doing this, all these people, he's putting people in car crashes, he's setting folks on fire, he's, having folks being killed, all this pestilence, cancers, all this type of stuff. This is all the hands of the Most High. So reading also is a mighty, mighty thing. You can't do it enough. Reading these accounts and seeing what the Most High has done in times of old and seeing what he's doing right now in the land of the living. So, Most High willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, sisters, have a mighty day of atonement coming up. If you've already observed, Most High willing, it was mighty through the Spirit. Keep instilling that fear of the Most High within us so we can escape that hellfire, y'all. Most High willing, and be a part of that 1/3. I love y'all so very much. I pray, Lord willing, that sisters have a beautiful Sabbath through the Spirit. And call Yahweh Shem Mashiach Woman like Yahweh Shai. Shalom.